welcome back to another Dark Revenge Productions. My name is Chad, and thank you for joining me for another episode. Tonight I have for you, if you have not read already in the description, this is Monday Night Raw, and there's a few things that happened tonight, and we're going to get into those in just a few moments. But before we get anything started, I would just like to say, I just found out, that Muhammad Ali had passed away. So I want to give my condolences and all that out to the family and friends of Muhammad Ali. I never was really a big follower of his. I've seen some of his matches and things like that, but I never really was a follower. But it's always hard to have someone pass away, and all of us know that. All of us have lost someone. So just before I get this started, I just wanted to say my condolences. You'll be missed, Muhammad, and you're one of the best boxers around, and I'm sure you changed a lot of people's lives for the different things you did while you were on this earth. But you are now gone. Farewell, and you'll be missed. So let's go ahead. Let's get right into this and get things started. So at the beginning of Monday Night Raw, they had 6 different ladders in the ring. 5 of them already had wrestlers on top of them as soon as Monday Night Raw started, and Dean Ambrose was the last one to come down and then take his place on a ladder with his. I don't know exactly why they would put all 6 on a ladder. I mean, I get what the match is all about, but I just thought it was kind of corny to have all 6 in the ring on top of ladders like that. And it was just, there was something interesting about Chris Jericho and how he kept sitting on the ladder. It was almost like in a girly position or like a modeling position that he was sitting in. It was kind of weird. And of course, some of the other guys like Dean Ambrose and them were making kind of jokes about it. If you didn't watch WWE, the 6 guys were Dean Ambrose, Alberto Del Rio, Kevin Owens, Cesaro, Sami Zayn, and I forgot who I even said, but I'm sure there's one more. Anyways, like I said, there's 6 of them all together. They're going to have a Money in the Bank match, which is in 2 weeks. And I think my pick on that, so far, I believe my choice is going to be either Dean Ambrose or Sami Zayn are going to win that certain match. But so they all had that going on. And towards the end, they all started to come down, except for Chris Jericho. And, of course, as you probably already guessed, they had a little battle going on between them and everything else. Then, during all of that, some music started playing, and music that I haven't heard in a while. Who else comes down? None other than Teddy Long. Teddy Long used to be a long-term general manager for SmackDown, and that's kind of what he came down to do, was to promote himself to have the opportunity to run SmackDown again. My personal opinion is I don't think that Teddy Long would be good for SmackDown right now, because he's more about forming everybody to be tag teams, and that's just what his main thing is tag teams. And I just don't think that with the brand split right now, Teddy Long would be right for the picture. Besides, I think they're going to have where Stephanie runs one brand and her brother runs the other. That's just what my feelings are on it. And so that is that. The next thing is the first match of the night was Dean Ambrose versus Chris Jericho, where Dean Ambrose had won the match against Chris Jericho, so that was a good start for Monday Night Raw. The match wasn't all that great. It was probably 3 out of 5 star match. I think Chris Jericho has kind of just lost his flair on wrestling as what he once had. I think he's just kind of going with the flow now, and he's just kind of there. Dean Ambrose, I feel like he's ready to hold the title, the WWE title, but I don't feel like they're going to be giving it to him anytime soon. But hopefully, maybe he will if he wins his Money in the Bank, and maybe he'll go and win it. Who knows? I mean, it would be a good match, probably between Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns, or even have Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins fighting it out, and Dean Ambrose comes in, Money in the Bank, briefcase, cashes in on one of them, becomes new champion. That would be a good twist for the whole Shield thing that they've been discussing lately, rehashing the whole Shield episode of when they all three came in together. And so yeah, but like I said, Teddy Long, and then like I said, Teddy Long came, was there, and that was probably one of the main highlights of the night. And actually, I made a mistake. It wasn't Ambrose that beat Chris Jericho. It was Cesaro that had beat Chris Jericho and gave Cesaro that upper hand for the next pay-per-view, which is Money in the Bank coming up. So I'm sorry, and I apologize for my mistake on that. It was Cesaro versus Chris Jericho, not Dean Ambrose and Chris Jericho. Then they had a thing where Seth Rollins came out, he was backstage or in the interview room, and he was speaking out, it's just bad timing because of where Roman Reigns is holding the title right now, but Seth Rollins feels that title is still his because he technically never lost it. He had to give it up due to an ankle injury that kept him out for quite some time, and so he had to pardon with the title that he had at that moment. Now he's back, but I honestly don't see them giving Seth Rollins the title back right now. I just don't see it. Because right now there's just no point for it, not with all the storylines that are going on at this moment. So I just don't see that happening. And as I mentioned earlier, I don't know how many of you all be watching it or even getting it, but in 2 weeks, the next pay-per-view will be coming up. I'll be watching it. I will do a review after it's over with, or that following morning. But you can watch it on the WWE Network for $9, which that's what I do. It's a good deal because you get to watch a lot of old school matches, a lot of current matches, and just a lot of other things that you can watch and enjoy, other than just the current pay-per-views. And then they had the Von Villains versus Cass and Enzo. Now this one I feel like is just kind of a dead match because Cass and Enzo and the Von Villains, they battled it out quite a bit back in NXT. It was a rubber band match always between them. So I just don't see why they're doing it now in WWE and Raw. I get they're trying to push tag teams right now and all that, but that match made no sense to me, and I just wasn't really interested. I kind of just walked away for a moment during that match, so I couldn't really tell you what really happened in it. So all I do know is I believe Kaz and Enzo won that match. But so that was that on that. Then the next match was Alberto Del Rio versus Sami Zayn. And I honestly thought on this one, I thought that Sami Zayn was going to win it. but I was wrong. Alberto Del Rio won. So Alberto has his push to go into the pay-per-view and that upper hand going into it. So far we have Cesaro and Alberto Del Rio win their matches out of the three coming up, and my personal opinion is I'm not a real big Alberto Del Rio fan, but maybe he'll get his name back up there again. But ever since he left WWE, ever since he trashed on WWE after he left, they really haven't been giving him a push. They really haven't even been trying to do much with him. Just throwing him here, throwing him there. I don't know if they really know what to do with him at this moment. His gimmick back when he had his car and his sidekick and everything else, he was doing well. But ever since he went on his own and then, like I said, left WWE, his career just kind of went downhill. And this whole thing with AJ Styles and the Shield and all that, it kind of reminds me of or the club and AJ Styles. It kind of reminds me of the Shield, back when Roman Reigns, Dean Ambrose, and Seth Rollins were the Shield. Now you've got AJ Styles and the club pretty much doing the same thing, taking out John Cena, taking out, you got the club taking out other tag teams and wrestlers. So I think they're just kind of doing another faction thing, try and make them powerful, try and make them strong. They know AJ Styles is up here right now, and they know that John Cena's up here as well. Always will be probably. So now they got that rivalry going on. I don't think it was the best idea to turn AJ Styles heel. Not at this moment. Not with the huge push he's getting, the huge fan base that he's getting. WWE. I think it's going to kind of hurt AJ Styles because of him turning heel. But that is just to happen, just for us to see what happens and see if I'm right or not. But I just feel at this moment, I feel it was a bad idea to make AJ Styles a heel. Then you did have the match between Dean Ambrose and Kevin Owens, which was a pretty good match, and usually any match with Dean Ambrose is pretty good. Kevin Owens started off pretty good. His match his career WWE started pretty well, but then slowly it started diminishing. But they did have a pretty good match. I think it was also another 3.5, maybe a 4 out of 5 star match. There was a lot of action in it and everything else. And then when the match is over, after Dean won, Kevin Owens tried to attack Dean Ambrose, try to knock him off the ladder and everything else like that. So there's just all this rivalry. So you got Dean Ambrose, Cesaro, and Alberto Del Rio all have their push, their to help them along with the next pay-per-view coming up, to give them that extra momentum. And we're just going to have to see what happens with that. Like I said, I hope that Dean Ambrose or Sami Zayn win the Money in the Bank match. I feel both of them deserve it. I feel both of them would do real well with it. And I feel that both of them would be good champions. I feel that Dean Ambrose would be a better champion than Sami Zayn. So Dean Ambrose is truly who I'm going for to win this. But those are the two that I'm hoping out of the 6. Then, of course, then you got this whole thing going on right now with Charlotte, and her totally disrespecting her dad, Ric Flair, telling him, take a hike, I'm done with you, I don't need you, you're dead to me. This, all the things that she was saying about her dad, and then the wrestlers backlashing at her, people on Twitter backlashing at her, everybody backlashing at her for what she did to her dad. I've said this before. I think what they did with this storyline with Charlotte, I think they kind of screwed up. I think it was a bad idea, and I think it was a bad taste in everybody's mouth when they did this to Ric Flair, because Ric Flair is a 2-time Hall of Famer and a multi-champion champion. I think he's the highest rated, champion as far as the main belts go, and 'cause he's won like I believe 16 of them. So I think it was just very disrespectful for them to do the storyline they did. Now you got Charlotte coming out saying, "I'm sorry, Dad. It was just business. It wasn't personal. I want to have Christmas with you. I want to have Thanksgiving with you, family time with you, and this and that. It was just personal, or it was just business." And then you got her new sidekick, Dana Brooks, there beside her. Of course, like I've said before in other videos, since Charlotte became champion, and before Charlotte became champion, she's never been on her own. She's always had someone there beside her to help her out. And most matches, she's never won on her own. She's won a couple, I believe, on her own, but for the most part, she's always had help. While they were in the ring doing all this, Natalya and Becky Lynch came out to do their storyline with the whole thing. Natalya and Charlotte have been having this rivalry going on for some time now, and basically it's family versus family. The Ric Flair or the Flair family versus the Hart family. Basically, Charlotte trashes the Hart family, but Natalya really tries to respect Ric Flair, not so much Charlotte, and but I don't know, I don't know what to say about that except for I just feel that they need to fix this whole storyline with Ric Flair somehow and get him back involved again. Because if it wasn't for Ric Flair, there wouldn't be a Charlotte if it wasn't for Ric Flair. But that is that. Then you had, at the end of the night, you had a 6-person tag team, which it was, you had the New Day versus AJ Styles and the Club, of course, and during the match, just a lot of things went on, a lot of shady stuff. Of course, now that AJ Styles and the Club they're a team, might as well expect a lot of dirty play going on. Of course, then you got New Day who do their dirty plays as well. So it's kind of a mix of the two of them. But after their match was over and said and done, you had the Club trying to beat on the New Day and AJ Styles, and then John Cena comes running down the ring to help them out. He pretty much clears the ring, and then the New Day gets involved, helps John Cena out. So I don't see where this storyline's going to go between New Day and John Cena, the Club, and AJ Styles. Who knows? Maybe there's going to be some form of team going on there. I really don't know. I'm not a real big New Day fan. Never really have been. I just think that like people like Kofi Kingston needs to be back one-on-one, back on his own, doing the little stunts that he does, the little tricks, that people always liked. Because he's a very talented wrestler. Xavier Woods, I feel like he's kind of the weak link of that group. I feel like he's not really that great of a wrestler. He wasn't even that great of a wrestler back in TNA. And then, of course, you got Big E. He got started out by being a bodyguard and then became a wrestler. He was doing well on his own one-on-one. But I think just, in a way I feel like that them being the New Day kind of hurt them a little bit. But that's just my personal opinion. Anyways, that's all that happened tonight. I believe there was one other match that happened. I can't remember what it was right offhand, so I do apologize for that. So there wasn't really a whole lot going on. They're just preparing for the next pay-per-view coming up in 2 weeks, and just trying to get these storylines together. I will be doing a pay-per-view prediction probably sometime next week, so look forward to that. Anyways, it's late at night. It's about 12 o'clock at night here in Florida. So I'm going to go ahead, get out of here, get some sleep. I just want to get this video done for you guys and get it out there so you all know what's going on, keep you up to date for those of you who don't watch WWE or aren't able to watch the WWE. So I do this every week, every Monday night, Tuesday morning. I usually post it, or Monday nights I post if I'm not too tired. But so I'm going to say thank you for joining for another episode of Darker Introductions. Thank you for watching this Monday Night Raw review. Please like, comment, subscribe, favorite if you like this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If not, give it a thumbs down. Either way, thank you for joining me for another episode. Follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And as I always say, take care, be safe, and you have a good night. I will catch you tomorrow. I've got a couple of food reviews for you guys, so I'll see you then. But now, my name is Chad, and I'm out.